Beni bait. Muszę być zobaczyć. To silniejsze. Bezjednością. Fizjonoska. Łaziec. Szuf. Tajemnik. Ryż. Napis. Cudracyki. Muzyki. Наша поинтересовала. Языка каштига, поднятый, поршень, честно. Побежал, не решал, но морал, ну, это сейчас не вышел, где он был. Да, не такое. Ну, старались, молодцы. Там, не знаю, как прям заново. Мало яйца. Então, categorize com os fãs da lista da minha então o que eu vou fazer com que vai dar não fazer com que
bringing together two people who are unique in gameplay, in skill set, in hair color. These guys have it all. The Victory Royale, especially here in Championship first day, Global Championship first day, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll be honest, I feel like they were a little quiet throughout the day. I wasn't really keeping a close eye on the Yamzo and Rise, but of course, last game of the day, they're gonna be like, hey, by the way, guys, like we're one of the best teams here, by the way.
Yeah, 100%, man. The Ginger Giants, eh? These guys, look, you said a bit quiet. I had seen them sort of within almost every end game, right? Towards the back end, right? You said, he had the double 0-point games or whatnot, but then the rest of it was very consistent. Exactly what you expect to see from the Yamzo and Rise. They're one of the teams I love the most from NA, right? Because tactically, they are sound, right? They are as good tactically as any other team in the world. And when they are feeling confident, when they are in their rhythm, they are so good, and they showed it there in that last game.
Yamzo's always been one of those guys, right, that is just ridiculously confident. It's not in like a cocky way, just he knows what he can do.
He's good.
And now they're like, hey, look, kind of what he's saying, once we figured it out, it's easy. It's not necessarily easy. They are just that good.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to point out the fact that, they mentioned that, yeah, sure, the first game we were a little bit nervous. And a lot of the times we talk about experience being that, oh, they've been to these in-person event before. And that's why some of those players that have that experience come in and they're sort of ready. But the fact that they were able to adapt and get comfortable in just a short amount of time, right? We only played 5 games today, and they were talking like they were very, very comfortable towards the end of it. So that is impressive in its own right.
But that comes with having a game plan, right? And that's the difference between them and a lot of other teams in competitive football in general. Is these guys come ready, and when you have a game plan that you can trust, you just have to be confident, right? Because you know you follow that game plan, it's going to take you far, and that's exactly what these guys can do.
Absolutely. Let's do this. Let's take a look at our standings. Remember, we want to end the day in top 25. Go straight on through to Sunday. Real quick, Vivid, I am not good at reading. What's that? What is that? No, what do you say? What's the name up there in the first place?
Hey, Levin, let's take the facts here, right? I'm a little short. Have a little trouble with the top shelf sometimes.
Okay.
Go ahead and read out first place from all the way up there. All the way up there.
All right,
Who's that?
so in first place, you have Agent Code and Big Acorn. They have been phenomenal. Yes, 325 points. First place.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got them. Now, what's crazy to me, let's talk about the overall of this top 10, right? I would have expected a lot more EU names in general, but that's not the case. Now, we have some high-profile ones in there, Queasy, Veto, Seti, and Cammy. And still, NA deciding to show up on day one.
Yeah, NA had a very good day. I'm very, very proud of everybody. I think Acorn and Cole definitely proved that low ground is pretty much theirs, especially when it comes to finding the eliminations, when it comes to finding the great rotations that they actually do through some of those mid games. Some of them they just weren't even building. So shout out to Acorn for making some of those calls. And obviously, Cole, he'll always find you an elimination.
100%, right? And even similar for Yamzo and Rise towards the back end of them games, right? There were a couple of those games, I think it was game 3. You saw them try to look up for hype, and they were ready, they wanted to go for it. Queasy and Venom up there, started spraying them. But when you're an IGO as good as Rise is, you're not concerned about that. Cool, we can't play for high. I'll just play mid ground and low ground just as well. And that's exactly what they've done today.
You'd love to see it. Now, our next question obviously has to be, who's going through? We know the top 25 will be moving on to Sunday. Let's take a look at a list of the 25 players that have qualified. A couple of names, let's just call them out. Obviously, we saw some of the big ones. I wanted to quickly highlight Zagu right here and Peppo Clip. Obviously, we saw them back in the days of Invitational. For them, though, back then, day 2 didn't quite hit as hard. But now, making it through to Sunday, they have time to prepare. And hopefully, they'll bring some heat.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited to actually see what they bring on day number 3. We also saw some very cool strategies from them throughout the day, farming some of that surge. Very, very cool from them. But talking about some of the smaller regions, I mean, Alex and Worthy, 6th place from the OCE region. Very impressive.
Alex is one of my favorite players to watch. Such an electric player, so entertaining. At any given moment, this guy can turn it on and just absolutely storm and roll through anyone. Worthy as well. When I spoke to them, they said they were struggling a bit, right? It's a 25-hour flight for them, right, to get it over here. And they said, yeah, we're feeling a bit tired, but, give us some good sleep and we'll be able to get into that lobby and show you what we can do. And that's what they're doing here today.
So now that we've kind of concluded the first 5 games, how are you guys feeling about the competition? Obviously, it's pretty evident there's a lot of duos that are still holding some things back, right? Whether that be they held them back and now they're going to lower bracket, or they're in the top 25. They can hold them till Sunday. Did day 1 meet your expectations, Vivid?
Yeah, I feel like so. And again, I want to kind of bring up the regional aspect of the global championship. going actually into finals from the upper bracket, we have 12 EU teams, 8 NA teams, 2 Asia teams, and then 1 each for Middle East, Asia, or not Asia, Brazil, and OCE. So pretty rounded out, right? Regional representation from every single one of those going into the finals from the upper bracket.
Yeah, someone from everywhere stepped up, seemingly, and I think that's what you sort of would have expected. I think we always come into these competitions and think, you know, we sort of stack the biggest names up there and think, oh, this team's going to call, that team's going to call. There's always going to be some form of disappointment, and I think there will be some teams that thought, you know what, this hasn't been